of Mercy, which is a oolong. This is going to be a traditional Iron Goddess of Mercy, so it's more roasted, more full body, and just rich, super rich. Has some stone fruit, and yeah. So thinking about different ideas for YouTube videos and shorts, but also long form as well as shorts. So yeah, I'll be talking about some of that as I sip some of my morning tea here, and hopefully some people get on and we can have some conversation or just a little bit of social thing. But yeah, I'm going to use this julunju, which is the wheel lid pot, and this is from the 80s, so it's a pretty old teapot here. Has a really good quality clay, and I just thought it was really suitable for brewing up some Iron Goddess of Mercy. Iron Goddess of Mercy. So we'll give it a whirl and see what the overall flavor profile is. But yeah, so I was writing down some ideas for some shorts, for some videos, and I came up with kind of a series idea I'm going to do, which is going to be called Tea After Midnight. And these are stories about my experiences, my experiences of drinking tea after midnight in Taiwan, which is actually a place where it's more common to drink tea after midnight, especially in the summer, and especially when you're hanging out with your tea friends or the tea crowd, so to speak, because it's so hot in the day, and people, one of the best, or like these tea people that have um, that have like successful tea businesses and stuff, at least some of my friends that are in the tea business in Taiwan, they don't necessarily have anything to do really early in the, I mean, they don't have to be anywhere, so to speak, first thing in the morning. So they can sleep in, and a lot of them stay up late at night doing their little creative projects, or working on stuff, or hanging out with friends, drinking tea. And so late into the night, it's common to see, if you go to, I mean, it's not like a public tea shop for the most part. Hey, my real account and my real account. Thanks for joining in here. I'm happy to see you guys, everyone here. And I'm just putting some of this Iron Goddess of Mercy here into this teapot that was made in the 1980s. So it's pretty special teapot, pretty special tea. But I'm really looking forward to brewing it in this pot to see the results, or see what the combination is. But yeah, so getting back into my series here, Tea After Midnight. And why would you drink tea after midnight? I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm saying, is it's so hot in Taiwan, and and so a lot of times in the day, if you have a place to sleep with the air conditioner, that's going to be kind of the best course of action, especially if you don't have anything to do in the day. And then you hang out with your tea friends at night, late into the night, drinking tea and just having fun, talking and learning about tea, or talking about art, or whatever you want to, whatever you're into. Okay, let's see. That's plenty of tea there. So in my what is it? In my experience, or in my life living in Taiwan, or just going back to Taiwan, there was several times when there was these experiences I had where we were drinking tea late into the night, and then some cool stuff happened. And so my sort of Tea After Midnight series, excuse me, I'd be talking about these experiences, like what happened. For example, one time I went to, let's see, I'll tell this story. Um, One time I was hanging out with an old tea friend and we're drinking tea, and he had a batch of tea. It was super good. It was super delicious. And hi there, trader Y3K, and also Lily is good 334. What um you know what happened is this guy I was drinking the tea with, he's in the tea business. And sometimes, even though people are in the tea business and they have like a really good tea, if the batch of tea is really good, they might not want to sell it all at once. They might want to kind of keep keep it to, because then if you have it when you brew it for people, then they really appreciate it. They really like it, and they're like, "Oh, this guy has really good tea." So a lot of times you want to keep some of your best tea on hand to impress guests. And that's what is the case. Is I asked this guy, I was like drinking the tea with him, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this tea is really good. Can I buy it?" And I wanted to buy, I'm a tea business guy, so I wanted to buy a large amount. And he was like, "No, sorry, I can't sell it to you." And so it was late at night, and we're drinking tea, and we're talking about all kinds of personal things. And he was really talking about his marriage, and like, just like, some of the problems he was having in his marriage and stuff like that. And so I was basically like counseling him or talking to him about that for like an hour or so. And after that conversation, finally, when we're done talking about, those, his sort of personal life, and then I felt like it was more of a appropriate time. And so I asked again, "Will you sell me the batch of tea?" And then he was like, "Sure." So it was kind of more after, we'd had that connection. And that was pretty cool experience. I thought it was kind of funny in the moment. I remember thinking, "Oh, this is interesting," right? Like, cuz tea is relationship based. It's not this type of tea at this level. It's not like a commodity tea where it's just like buy and sell, and it's just so transactional in a sense. A lot of times, if you don't have the right relationship, or the relationship doesn't have the right feeling for some people, you're not going to be able to buy these super high end teas. So yeah, it's just another example of that. And I'm glad I told this story here, because again, when I'm doing the series, or I'm telling these stories, there's certain parts of the story that I might leave out or I might not remember. And so it helps to do a little refresher here. Um, but yeah. And so then what else? Another story that story reminded me of was one time we went to this event in Taipei, and we were living down in Tainan. And Taipei is like a 5 hour drive, 4 or 5 hour drive, something similar from driving from Eugene to Seattle. And I just remember, so we had been at this tea event, drinking tea, and that was pretty much like an all day event. And it was, and then we went to eat, and then we went to another tea experts tea house, and we were drinking tea, and it was getting late. It was about 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, I was kind of getting a little bit anxious, because I was like, well, we're still going to drive home. So it means we're going to get home at like 3 in the morning or something. Um, And so I asked my friend who had brought me on this trip, and I said, "Oh, when are we gonna hit the road?" And he was like, "Well, we're gonna we're gonna drink tea. Um, we're gonna drink tea at up until there's a certain type of feeling, and then we'll go home." And I was like new to this whole world at that time. This was one of my first forays and or like expeditions into with these like super romantic tea people that kind of live according to the feeling of their heart and all this. So I was like, that's a really strange answer. Like I couldn't argue with it, but I was also like, well, what time is that? And so I was like, I just remember being like, kind of like, whoa, I don't know what to think about that. But okay. I was like, okay, no problem. I'll be here. We'll be going along with this ride. And so then, sure enough, it gets to be about midnight and we're drinking tea and then and then everybody's like, well, and it was really, I'm really glad we were doing that because I saw some really cool teaware and I learned about the way these guys were thinking about tea and teaware and sort of teaware arrangement and stuff. So it was like super educational session, and I was super excited about it. So it was really fun. And then we start driving back and we get to Taichung, which is like I'm just say for it's probably not halfway between, but it was about halfway home. So we get there about 2 in the morning or something like that. And we stopped there to drop off one of the tea masters that we had been traveling with. Super creamy, super smooth. The roast is definitely obvious, but it's just like almondy and milky, kind of chocolatey. I like this tea. It's not like a super fancy tea. I mean, by most tea standards it is, but like it's not like the most refined iron goddess of mercy, but it's just delicious aroma. And it's a super long lasting aroma. This is a good batch of tea for sure. Look how dark the leaves are. This is a really traditional roast. Oops, I dropped a leaf. So yeah, so we get to this tea master's house in Taichung, and he's like, "Oh, come on in. You know, I have a special snack. I have a special treat. I have a special snack I want to share with you. You won't believe." And he had been telling us about it. It was a basically like a candied kumquat, and it had a like a sauce. And so he's in this apartment and it's got like teapots and art everywhere. He's an artist. And he goes, and so he makes us tea and serves us this. We each have a small, very small, kumquat that's candied. And at that time too, that was a really cool experience because then he's like, "Oh, Josh, you like to brew tea? Those those teapots on that shelf over there. I'm gonna get rid of them." Roasted. This is roasted. Yeah, it was roasted in Taiwan, Tieguanyin. But it's the tea is more likely from mainland China. It's nice, smooth but heavy, like iron, but forgiving, like the goddess of mercy. Um. Anyway, yeah. So he's like, "Yeah, you like tea, right? You brew tea?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Excuse me." So he's like, "Why don't you just pick one of those teapots over there? Pick one for yourself." And so I was like, "What?" And I had been, coveting teapots for a long time and saving up and trying to understand what's a good teapot and all this, and to buy teapots. And this guy was just going to give me one. So I was like looking at each one, and I was like, wow, they're all so nice. And it was hard. I wish I mean, and I didn't know a lot about teapots at that time. So I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, some of these teapots are so nice. I could tell that. Um, yeah, me too. I'm a big fan of the Muja Iron Goddess. But and today, and the Muja Iron Goddess is smoother than this. This a friend of mine roasted for me for my business to so that we have this Iron Goddess MRC like kind of readily available. It's more accessible. It's like a lower price point than Muja Iron Goddess. It's more than likely, yeah, like I said, it's this. I think this is grown in mainland China. In that way, the price is lower for dispatch of tea. Anyway, it's it's nice. It's pretty heavy flavor. It's definitely um, heavier flavor than a lot of the Muja Iron Goddess. Um, but yeah, so I couldn't believe it, and I just was like looking at those pots, and that pot. I'll show you. Actually, I have it right here. The pot that I did choose from the Tea Masters collection. It's this one here, and it's really a beautiful pot. I know this is a really valuable pot. Like this is like Yixing clay. Um, it's got the speckles. I don't know if you can see that. It's got like kind of speckle, and then it's got this. And one of the reasons I really liked it was because this stamp was so unique, and so um, it's got this really ornate, unique stamp, and then you can see the lines like in this craftsmanship. You can tell it's a hand built pot. I mean, this is a much higher quality pot than something these crisp lines here in this. Um, anyway, yeah, this is crazy that experience, and then we did finally get home at about 5 in the morning. Um, one of my first forays into that world, and I remember too when it was funny. Like here, you can see some of the speckles here. Um, it was just funny because I remember when I got the next time I saw my friend who took me, this guy has a tea shop, and I when I saw his wife, and she said, "Were you 你被吓到吗?" 就是 the means like did they scare you like by keeping you out all night, because a lot of times these are like tea people, tea romantics in a way, like tea, almost like their blood is tea. And so their tea culture is very strong, and they're not gonna. It's like they're so into tea, and luckily at the time, and like I mean that's like I really like tea, and so for me it wasn't a scary. I mean I wasn't scared away. Scared away. I wasn't scared away. I was just like, wow, these people are into it. Like it's like through and through. So it's crazy. That was one of my first experiences of drinking tea after midnight. Cheers. Thanks for checking in.